We do reviews can be either first-party reviews or third-party. That means first-party means that you get them to write your review that you put up on your own site. You host it, you own it.
Which ties into what?
That ties into your aggregate star rating, which shows up on search results.
That is aggregate star rating, right?
Yeah. We also have a platform that helps you get third-party reviews, Google, Facebook, Yelp, and it helps you shuttle people to those.
Hey there, guys. It's Nolan again and Jason.
Hey.
And today we're going to talk about something actually pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I like it because it takes, the guesswork out of what the heck's going on. And what today's topic is your Google homepage. So what's
Nolan? What's my Google homepage?
What the heck are you?
Oh wait, I'm trying to play straight man.
Yeah,
You're straight
I'm supposed to do that. So Google homepage is, your website's still king, and everything else is still important. But basically, people aren't clicking on the website.
They're not. Yeah, they're not always clicking through to the website.
If they search the company's name.
Yeah.
And what's the trend is up, right? On if somebody types your name in, or I'm sorry, the trend is up to type your name in with the word reviews.
Yeah, with the word reviews.
Yeah.
That's a big trend.
So go. Yeah, you're going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's if you. I mean, you've all done a Google search before. We all have. Everybody does. But you've done a search and you've seen on the sidebar in the browser of the Google search results. Sometimes we call that the knowledge graph. Sometimes we just call it the sidebar. You've seen some particular company come up there, and you've seen like their address, phone number, stuff like that. You can click for directions, or you can click the phone number right there to call or whatever.
And you can basically tell everything about a company just by that your Google homepage. So when you search your name and your city that you're in, all your stuff pops up.
All your basic information comes up right there. And what that is if someone's looking for you and they find you there, they might just click and call your number right there without having to go through to your web page. And it's pretty cool. It's very relevant.
You can get like a whole feel for that company. And let's talk about so what shows up is if you're on let's say you're on a laptop or desktop, you're going to see your knowledge graph show up on the right-hand side, and that's your Google My Business knowledge graph, and it has your pictures and name and reviews and links to your social media and maybe even like Google Map postings, which we do, by the way.
Yeah.
So this isn't, for me, one of the takeaways. We just got back from a conference last week, and this was one of the big things they were talking about.
Right.
And it's not just this stuff is optimizable stuff. It's stuff that a embellished site does better at. Right. So if somebody, and if so the knowledge graph's over here, and then there's all these listings. But nowadays people do stuff like aggregate star rating, which is enhanced schema code base, which of course we do as well.
Right.
But if you type in your name, we've been doing this for over 2 years, I think.
Yeah. And we actually went to a conference, and a guy got up and did one of the workshops, and he was talking about the importance of aggregate star rating and schema. And Nolan and I are sitting there at the back, kind of smug, looking. Yep, we've been doing that for 2 years.
We still go and learn stuff, by the way. So I mean, I will say that it was more boring than it used to be, right? It was, because we know 90% of it.
Yeah.
But it's worth going to get 10% of stuff put in our head and make sure that we're on the best.
Yeah, we're always learning. So
we're always picking up stuff. Not so smug that we can't learn, but
still pretty smug.
We are good. We're rightfully good. I wouldn't call that cocky. We simply are skilled and
factual.
It is factual. We're at the top of our game. So if you type your name in and the city, and you see stars next to your Facebook account, and stars next to your Facebook listing, your Yelp listing, and so on. Those are national companies that included this high-end schema code base, which is this aggregate star rating that shows up now on our clients on the internal pages. It doesn't show on the homepage.
But for whatever reason, Google will not show the star rating on a homepage.
But it will show up on our clients on an internal page. So the point is, when someone's looking at your Google homepage and they see all these stars, well, you've got stars too. But if I dipped out a Google homepage for just a second and expanded this, if you're in a ranking position organically and you show up anywhere in the top 10, I looked at somebody on our platform, one of our major platforms, on SEO related items, and guess how many people had aggregate stars showing up next to their name underneath us, which we were #1, by the way, for the term,
Yeah.
there wasn't one
Yeah,
single
we were
SEO. Yeah, there wasn't one single SEO firm that even had it on their own page. So this showing up isn't there much, but it shows up definitely on Google homepage because you see all these stars, but your site too has a star. And by the way, we'll talk about that. So what's something you should do to make your Google homepage look better, which of course we do for you. Your About Us page is actually optimized for your name.
Right.
And maybe in the review page, which we have a review tab, is also optimized for your name and the word reviews.
Correct.
Which is another thing that shows up on what? The Google homepage.
Google homepage.
Yeah, so you want that stuff to just be stuffed in there as much as possible. That's a bad word for SEO, but you want as much of your stuff up high as you can legitimately get in there, not stuffed in there. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And that's part of that Google homepage. And I guess your potential client now is trusting reviews more, is scared, and is searching for this stuff, right?
Right.
I'd like to add something here because it goes in here, and we're going to do a whole nother video about this. But there was somebody that was speaking at this conference that had brought out a report from a credible source that said 76% of searchers still look at organic first. And so, guys,
by the way, that's a trend upward.
It's a trend upward because the general public is having a negative backlash to getting hammered with advertising,
right?
Whether it's on Google's platform or even on Facebook's,
right?
So there's been a negative trend through the populace downward in paid stuff because they just don't like it.
Yeah.
So and the reason I brought it up is because I think when we're talking about this stuff, there's this general feels like, oh well, this is on Google, and like, oh well, Google shows it. Well, not only does it not show up if you don't work on it, everybody wants organic, and all the stuff we're talking about is organic.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We still love. We're AdWords partner. We'd love to sell you paid. We'll do paid AdWords and paid Facebook and all that.
It's an important part of an overall marketing strategy.
I'm just bringing it up because I think there's this little thought that creeps in. It's like, oh, well, that's just magical junk that happens. Well, or people are just looking at that and not even doing anything. Well, yeah, they're looking at it, and that's their organic listings.
Right.
And they're getting that feel from everything. They're just trusting what's on that page more because of the integration of things like aggregate star rating, integrated reviews, which we will talk about.
Right.
So what do we do for them on reviews? You want to take that one on? So
you mean in terms of
or what
code
do we
base
not do
or
for them? Yeah, on code base integration of
we do reviews can be either first party reviews or third party. That means first party means that you get them to write your review that you put up on your own site, you host it, you own it.
Which ties into what?
That ties into your aggregate star rating, which shows up on search results.
That is aggregate star rating, right?
Yeah. We also have a platform that helps you get third-party reviews, Google, Facebook, Yelp, and it helps you shuttle people to those because they're both important.
By the way, another thing that Google's algorithm started to do, you can't just get a Google review. That's the hardest one to get, right? But you can't just get those. They want to see a little medley of them. So if you're not using a little assisting program to give the consumer, because we got this little widget that we wrote proprietary, and you have a dashboard to enter. We wrote it proprietary. You can get these from other people, frankly. I'm not trying to say it's something that can't be gotten on the market. I'm saying that we wrote it. It integrates into sites that we do better, optimizes better, and pulls reviews in for changing content and increased conversion and time on the website, right?
Right.
But if you're not using something similar, you should, because if you're only given one review, it's not going to help you in your rankings.
Yeah, they prefer people with multiple review sources, not one review
Yelp,
source.
Facebook, BBB, and Google. I definitely want you having Google, but But so yeah, the review stuff is completely integrated, completely done by us. Your address, you want to talk about that because you were wanting to talk about like geolocation, address, what type of business are they?
I mean, a lot of you guys out there are probably already familiar with your Google My Business account. Most of you who come to us have one. And you go into your Google My Business account.
You want to show up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
everybody wants to show up everywhere.
Everybody, so. And you put in your name and your address and your phone number, or maybe your business category, and you usually think you're done. And that's like the bare minimum and is not nearly enough. That Google My Business page is the source for your Google homepage.
Yeah.
And in there, you can put business logo, pictures. You got wrapped trucks, put pictures of your wrapped trucks. You got a nice looking front, building that's your office. Put it up there. You got pictures of
videos now too, right?
Yeah, videos too. You got pictures of your guys, your crew on a job working. Put it up there.
Regular
if you're one of our
listings.
very smart people who actually has a camera drone and does drone flyovers of your work sites, we're seeing more of that, and that's cool.
Yeah,
as
we
hell,
love
by
that.
the way.
It's good stuff.
And put that up there. And you can put all that up there. You can enhance the listing with your hours, holiday hours. You can put up photos that are like promos, basically advertisements.
So
for
Google,
yourself.
aka Google Map postings, by the way, which we do for clients as well.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to drill down onto, like, let's talk about the difference between, or I will for a second, in a retail location and how Google's treating your map location.
Oh, yeah.
And then that. So your Google, well, we're getting a little off, I guess. We're talking about Google homepage.
Yeah.
But just on a side note, it's they're showing, if you're a retail, they're going to show it a concise area.
Yeah, they're squeezing the.
If you're a home
service,
they're still going to widen it, and your ability to show up is bigger.
Yeah.
But I guess part of my deal on all this, and one point I want to make about it, is that it isn't one thing. I'm okay if somebody comes on here and watches this video or listens to this podcast in order to better their business, but it is just, to me, it's the height of ridiculousness not to pay a nominal fee for marketing to get as much as they can. We're here to provide these services on review, integration, mapping, Google My Business, social outreach is part of how this stuff shows up and how your Google homepage looks, because all that's in there.
Right.
Your Facebook reviews show up, right? Integration of that, getting hooked up, the content actually helps out with all this. Your website has to be on point. It can't just be sloughed off. This stuff won't even come together as well on that Google homepage.
Yeah, right. You can put all this stuff on the Google homepage and have it on your Google My Business listing. And then if your website doesn't optimize for the proper sets of keywords, then that sidebar with all your information isn't going to show.
Yeah, so if you didn't have this done as well, it's just like with anything else, you're not going to convert that person as well when they go search you. Right. So your Google homepage is half done because you had somebody in your office do it, or you tried to do it on your own and you missed that conversion rate from that. It just didn't feel as warm and fuzzy when somebody went to look at it.
Right.
It needs to all be tricked out. And on a general optimization of all this, it's the same with everything that we do. Right. I had somebody the other day, I'll get off on just a little bit of a tirade on something, that called and talked to us about something, and we spoke to them pretty heavily about one thing that was wrong with their site.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty damning thing that if they try to do it on their own account.
It's one of the trickier things.
It's something, everything we do is white hat stuff, but this one particular item needs to be done very carefully and well.
It can flip from white to black very, very fast.
So
you don't know what you're doing.
That client kind of is like, we didn't hear from them again. And my gut check is that they're like, oh, we're going to do that. In fact, they were complaining about this at the conference because a lot of these guys, we're a digital marketing agency, and then there was a lot of purebred agencies. And in case you don't know, what a purebred agency is, it's basically just you charge the heck out of the client and bill for every hour, kind of like an attorney, right?
Yeah. It's the old style large agency.
But they have to go through these requests for proposals and get these huge things done in order to secure a client.
Right.
And one guy even pointed out that they do these massive proposals, and then the people, even the large companies would go, oh, we're going to attempt to internalize it.
Yeah.
which is still ridiculous. I'll even give them credit. So what if they charge a lot? They've got expertise on more, on extreme branding and stuff.
Right.
I want to talk about that, by the way, in a different course, the branding. Let's talk about the branding of something, because a client called up here talking about branding the other day. You remember that conversation?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. We can do that one after this. But guys, I guess, for me, do you have any wrap-ups or?
I was just trying to make the point of how that Google homepage, the Google My Business listing, all that stuff you can do on it, we do that for you. And then we update that regularly, exactly like we update your website regularly, but it rests on the foundation of your website. The Google My Business listing is really cool and is a great tool, but without the website sitting there supporting the message, it's not going to do anything.
So I've got a takeaway from that comment. So if your Google homepage looks fantastic, then most likely everything else is working. Right,
Yeah,
their organic is ranking high. Their mapping's showing up. People are converting off the websites. You know, all this stuff is working together.
Right.
It's a conclusion of a properly managed online campaign as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was worth going over that, and really interesting stuff. It's a different. It's not really revolutionary, but to think about stuff just a tiny bit differently changes the effectiveness of your online campaign, right? I think it does.
To think about your website, like I said, as this foundation and all of this off-site stuff, your social media, Google My Business.
How important
how important all those things are. All those channels feed into your sales funnel.
So people ask me all the time. They're like, we'll talk to people and they'll say, "But do you do SEO?" You know, I'm like, everything we just described that we do for someone, content design, you know, citations, domain authority, map postings, you name it. All of that comprised is SEO.
Yeah, SEO. So, SEO is not just the words on the page. SEO is not just a keyword or a title
It's not just on-page stuff. It's off-page. It's social. It's reviews and public sentiment and all of it, right?
Yeah, if it's not paid advertising, it's SEO.
Yeah.
Period.
So if somebody's handling their online campaign properly, your Google homepage is already going to be kind of done.
Right.
But it's important to change slightly how the thought process, especially for us working for people, that we stay abreast of this and that everything knocks out of the park.
Right.
I would argue that we already have awesome Google homepages, but it's worth thinking about just a little bit, little things like extra embellishment of the Google My Business.
I mean, we learned that they're allowing video posts on those now.
Yeah,
which is
that's very new. So very new. Cool. We were already doing postings.
Yeah, we were doing posts and pictures
and all that. But we can start to add the videos. But all right, I'm droning on, but I appreciate your business. You guys take a look around. If you want to call, got questions, we'd love to be of service, and hope you watch and listen to another one of these. Remember, guys, if you liked it, give us a like on it on whatever format you're on, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. There's a client calling in right there.
See ya.
Bye-bye.